Hi everyone, this is Jill from the North Woods. Well, it was a 1.4 pound weight loss week, so that's good. I'm pretty happy about that. Last time I gained 0.2 pounds. That was my first time I've gained since going on this drug, but you read about this and it happens. People do gain weight on it, have good weeks, bad weeks. That's how it goes. But I'm glad to see that I lost some weight. And today I took my first increased dose of Mounjaro, and boy, I could feel it. I could feel the side effects coming back. I could feel a little bit of nausea. Like I said, sometimes my places where I injured myself in the past start to hurt a little bit. It's really bizarre, but I could feel it hit me just a bit. And so I took it easy on eating today just to make sure that I feel okay. So that brings us almost down to 47 pounds. I've been hearing more and more about people talking about how this stops working as well as time goes on. That's one way to look at it. But then I also hear that 10 milligrams is how most people say they lose the most weight. So I'm just going to take it for what it is. I'm not going to have expectations. I'm just going to keep doing what I've been doing. I don't lose the most amount of weight, but I feel like I'm eating a good solid diet. I'm getting my exercise in. My hope is that once it's getting to be a little bit warmer, a little bit darker, a little bit later, now I can start introducing the bike back into my activity and maybe even running. So I'll tell you, the last time I lost weight was with my trainer, and I got to a weight which is 10 pounds from now. The weight I am today is the weight I was throughout all of high school and college. And then I put on most of my weight after college. It was very stressful. I was very confused about what to do. My best friend got married, and I was not doing well with my men relationships, and it was stressful. And so I put on a lot of weight, which also did not help with the men relationships. And this is the weight I was in high school. And the funny part of it is how miserable I was in high school, how overweight I felt in high school all the time. Just terrible. And I am still overweight, but it's so funny to be, yay, I'm at this weight, when before I was miserable at the weight. So it's kind of a funny thing, but it's fine. And I'm right here. It's starting to get warm. I'm starting to de-winterize my house. I'm working on my bicycle outside. I have a nice bike rack that I have for both cars, and I'm really looking forward to it, because when I exercised before, I would exercise my exercise plan, and then on one weekend day, I would go on a longer bike ride. But also at this point, I had started running, and my trainer helped me on a running program. You sort of wonder, how is it that you can stop running, that you cannot run anymore? And you get to this point that you no longer run or no longer can run. So my trainer, who I see now today still, got me started out 2 seconds on, 2 seconds off. Believe it or not, I could only run for 2 seconds without feeling like I was going to die. But I got there. I went from 2 seconds on, 2 seconds off, to 1 minute on, 1 minute off, run walk, to running 5 minutes, running 10 minutes, and got all the way up to doing a trail running 10K. I mean, I was the last person to come in. In fact, the lady in the 79 age group beat me, but you know what? I did it. And that's all that matters. I also did a 5K run, and there's a fun picture of me, which maybe if I'm feeling generous, I'll put it up there on the screen so you can see it. It was cold, and I did it. I ran my first 5K, and I ran the whole thing, so that was kind of amazing. I also got to the point where I was running pretty reliably 3 to 5 miles a couple of times a week. I would love to get back there. Now, road running, I did not enjoy. I found it very hard on the joints, even though I had really good shoes. And there were just a lot of people there. And then what I tried to do was go trail running, and I loved it. The ground is softer. It's easier on the joints. You got to watch out for tripping on things. One of my close friends says, but you're just going to trip on stones and sticks and bees. You're right. If there is a person who could trip on a bee, it would be me. But for whatever reason, I never did. I never tripped. I never got hurt doing this. And I think nothing helped improve my physical well-being more than either running or going on these big 2-hour-long bike rides. I even ended up doing a 30-mile bike ride and then a 50-mile bike ride. And I'm hoping to get there this summer. I'm hoping to start getting there. I am still 10 pounds away from the lowest I had ever been since like I said, probably grade school. And that'll be exciting. And the reason I'm not starting running now, but I am starting a run walking program is because I hurt my ankles. And I'm not sure entirely if me ramping up running so quickly wasn't the thing that hurt my ankles. That maybe I was going too far, too fast, and still too much weight on me. That pounding of running, it is more weight to run on your joints than it is to stand on your joints. And so I think I maybe did some damage. So I might wait a little bit longer before I get back into the running. I have an elliptical in my little gym over there, and I'm going to stick with that for a while because that's low impact. I don't want to do what I did before. I was laid up for 2 full years because both ankles were screwed up. So I don't want to go back there. So I'm going to do the elliptical, I'm going to do the bike, and then I'm hoping to get back into the running because it turns out I love trail running. If I had known that cross-country running was in high school was something I would love, I would have maybe even tried to do that way back in the day. So that's where we are. And what I'd like to talk about today, is it good to be selfish? But I don't really like that word because selfish implies a bunch of things. I'm a Christian. I don't believe that selfishness, and then as the Bible put it, selfish ambition is the way to go. But if you're talking about taking care of your health, if you're talking about taking care of your being, I think the Bible and Jesus is all about that. He talked about resting. He talked about praying. He talked about getting away. He talked about building up your reserves. The whole Sabbath concept was about resting and getting away from all the things and focusing your attentions on God. So I don't think that selfish is the right word, and I can't think of the right word. But essentially, is it okay for us to focus on our health? That's the whole point of all of this. This isn't Bible talk. This is health talk. And so the idea is that, first of all, if you're finding yourself burned out mentally, constant fatigue, waking up and still being tired, headaches, stress, you know those feelings you get, digestive issues. I mean, I'm on Monjaro. I always have digestive issues. You're getting sick a lot, you're stressed, you're having trouble concentrating. All of that can lead to chronic disease. In fact, when looking at side effects of bad, healthy choices you make in your life, stress is the worst. It causes heart disease. It can give you long-term health problems. It can break your body down. Stress is one of the most harsh on your body health factors out there. But at the same time, it is one of the things that you could prevent. It's easier than losing weight. It's easier than anything else. So if you can find ways of managing and dealing with your stress, that's going to help a lot. But we're going to talk about being not selfish, but looking after yourself, even if that means being a little selfish. And the reason I started thinking about it is I am still hung up about that woman who got on Mounjaro, was losing weight, and then her family comes into town on the weekends, and she eventually dropped out of using the drug because what they do is they go out to eat. On Saturday night, they go out and they get one of those big plates full of wings and fried fish and all the French fries. And her first time out on Mounjaro on this, she decided to eat with her family and got sick because I know I can't eat a lot of things that are what I used to eat because they will make me sick. So I eat much more simple foods. And if I went out and had fried fish or had sausage or had wings, I would probably be sick. And so then she just said, well, this is important to me that me and my family go out on this because I'm the mama and we get together and we have this incredible meal and I had to do it. And so she quit Mounjaro. And I thought, her family probably wants her alive. Her family probably wants her to see her grandkids grow up more than this meal. And so I thought, for one period of time, could she talk to them and say, hey, I'm doing something. It's really important for my health. I was wondering, instead of us doing this, could we go to this other restaurant? I'm just making up restaurants because they have a fantastic Caesar salad, or they have a wrap I really like and it's not too terrible for me and I don't feel sick eating it. This will help me to lose weight and get healthy so I'm around for the next X many years. And I bet you her family would be like, yes, of course. her family cares about her being alive more than they care about her eating out. So your health could go down the tubes if you don't focus at least a little bit on your physical being. I think that some people are so prioritizing of someone else, of everyone else, of their families, of their spouses, that they deteriorate. And that's where I think goes wrong. I think it is okay to be selfless. I think it is okay to look after the people you need to look after in your life. But at the point you're destroying yourself, that's when this is going to go down the tubes quickly. I used to be a lifeguard. And the thing that they always tell you is that you have to make sure that you're in a good position to save someone else. Or when you're on an airplane, they tell you when the mask drops to put the mask first on yourself and then on the other person. I don't operate like that. I would be putting masks on everybody in order if the plane needed oxygen. I'm just not that way. But you understand the point is that if you don't take care of yourself and you don't put the mask on you, you won't get very far in putting masks on other people. You will be more effective in helping other people if you help yourself too. And then comes in burnout. And when you get burnout, you, like I said, your health goes down the tubes. But then if you're always working for other people, you lose even the mental ability to help other people. Everybody needs a break. And everybody needs to focus on themselves a little bit. And then people, I've seen it, get so burned out, they just start withdrawing from everyone. So eventually you stop helping people if you go too far down the tubes with helping people. And so in the end, I don't like that word selfish. I don't like self-prioritize. I don't like self-care. I guess I can't find the phrase that I like the most. But instead, recognize you are a person who has needs. We all have a physical body. We all have rest needs, food needs, exercise needs. We have to take care of our health. I have seen people who have gotten serious diseases and they still take care of everybody else. And I think, why isn't the family taking care of them? She has cancer. It just doesn't happen that way. And people end up risking that they might not get better, that they might not keep their health. They won't be around for the people around them all the time. So in a sense, think about it. What is more selfish? Giving yourself the right food, exercise, rest, mental rest that you need, eating the food you need to eat in order to be healthy, and then living a long time to be there with your family or your friends or whoever you have in your life? Or is it better to give everything you have, spend no time focusing on yourself, be mentally, physically exhausted, and die young? I'm just going to say it. Is that better? It's not better. And now those people don't have you at all. Like I said, I think people would rather have us for a long time. I know my friend, when I talked to her about the fact I was going on this drug, she says, well, we could work on it together. She was not being selfish in any sort of way. She goes, we don't have to do this. We could work on this together. And I said, well, no, this has gone too far. I have to do this. There's no time left for this. I have to do this now. I have to lose this weight. And I said, I'm telling you this because this is going to affect when we go out to eat on weekends. This is going to affect when we go bird watching on weekends. A lot of times we'll jump in and go to McDonald's because it's the only restaurant in the town we spend a lot of time bird watching in. And I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to be able to eat or not eat. Now, as it turns out, I have found some things, even at McDonald's, that I can eat. It's fine. We have found ways of going out together, and she just never presses me on what I'm eating. I eat what I can eat. She eats what she can eat. And sometimes we pick different restaurants that have menus of places I can get something to eat. There are some places that just have nothing for me. But it's okay because she wants me to be around for a really long time. And that's what's important. And so there's ways of negotiating it. I just imagine that, like I said, if that the mama talked to her family, they would work out something together that would be acceptable for everyone. Well, hey, let's, instead of going out to this bar and eating wings and fried fish, why don't we eat here and just have a meal and play a board game? I think that they would have found something. Or, like I said, picked a different place that maybe had healthier food so that she could eat something. There are times, I went to that conference last year where people went out and I had an hors d'oeuvre, a very light meal, And people were eating around me for like a couple more hours, having beers and that, and I just enjoyed their time with them, even though I wasn't eating. Sometimes I would sort of pretend like I was eating a chip, but I was mostly like nibbling at it and playing with it on my plate, just so I didn't feel weird, because the fact is I was beginning this drug and I was sort of feeling a little weird. But people want you around and they want you to be there. And whatever hangups you have about taking time to exercise, to get some mental health breaks away, to eat the kind of food you need to eat, that's going to be more important than anything. And you should just talk to them. If you just talk to people and let them know where you're at and what you're trying to do, I think in most cases, people will let you take what you need in order to work towards your goal, especially if that goal means you're going to be around for a really long time instead of dying young because you have given everything you had to everybody else. I can't even get over, even back in the days when I was at Weight Watchers, I guess this is another reason I thought about it, is how many people I saw, and it was mostly mothers, who were saying, my family won't eat healthy food for me. I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to do Weight Watchers. I'm trying to eat healthy. And they demand eating like we always eat. I also wondered too, did they sit down and have a conversation? I'm trying to do something. I'm trying to do something that will make it so that I will have the rest of my life to be with you more, healthier, more. I'll have more to give to you when I'm feeling healthy than what I feel like right now. Or did they just feel that it was too hard to even have that conversation? But I'll also say, it was years ago. It was decades ago. And I think that conversation used to be harder to have. And there were expectations that aren't there right now. But I think in the end, talk to people, be honest with them. It's not being selfish, or even like I said, the Bible calls it selfish ambition. You're not being arrogant. You're not being self-pleasing. You're not trying to beat everyone else into the ground. You're just trying to take care of your health mentally, physically, what you eat, how you exercise. I've seen a lot of friends who had families who said, I have no time to get away and exercise. And at that point, I would hope, again, I'm not married, so it's easier for me to say because I never had to do it. Is there a way that you can negotiate time with your spouse so that they're watching the kid while you're out getting an exercise? And we're talking 30 minutes a day. Can you not get away for 30 minutes in a day to do this? I hope people can, and I hope that they take that into consideration, because we want you around. We want you to be here a really long time. You're not just here to fulfill everybody's needs. We are here to serve each other. We're here to be here for each other, but we're also physical human beings that have needs. God took care of Elijah. God took care of his disciples' physical needs. So it's not even a religious thing. Jesus took care of people's physical needs, not just their spiritual ones. So I think trying to figure this out, try to figure out what you need. I always do in my other podcast a challenge. And so my challenge to you is figure out one way the people in your life can offer you a little bit of help. We're supposed to carry each other's burdens. What could someone else do a little bit to carry some of your burdens? And like I said, sometimes it's very easy. I thought this was going to affect my friendship with my friend quite a bit because, like I said, we go bird watching on weekends when her husband is working on his business. I thought this was going to affect us a lot. So that's why I talked to her and told us how I thought this was going to work and how I thought this was going to affect us. In the end, now that I've been doing this for 7 months, I have a path. I know how it works. I know what I can eat and what I don't have to eat. And you know what? There are times where I'm just sitting there playing with my dish a little bit, moving around the plate with a fork like a 7-year-old trying to not eat vegetables. But she knows and she understands. And you know what? She wants me around for a really long time. Her husband does too. So think about that. It's not being selfish. It's just looking after your needs. You're just a human being person, and you have needs too. All right, everyone, thanks so much. I appreciate you watching this video. I hope your experience is going well. If you're using Mounjaro or one of the GLP drugs, I'd love to hear about your experience. Or if you're just having struggles with your weight, please remember that you can always email me at jill@startwithsmallsteps.com or just put something right here in the chat channel. This is a time for us to change our lives. And I think with Mounjaro, this is a drug that will help people who have never been able to change their lives. Thanks so much. Appreciate you watching. Talk to you next week.